Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Pure Picks, joined by my man Kevin, aka K Money, aka Kev, all in. How are you doing, Kevin?
What's going on, pure pickers? I'm ready to get these best
That's
bets in
what I
right
like
now.
to hear. That's what I like to hear. You see, Kevin doing a little traveling, doing a little, living life. So he's ready to get that bag and get that money for us right now. So I just wanted to start off. Kevin sent me over some of his best bets, and they look pretty juicy. So I want him to kind of explain his thought process for what kind of bets he's going for, what kind of angles he's trying to get at. First one, I really see right here, he has one parlay, and I'll let him go ahead and kick it off and kind of explain what he sees in this parlay right here.
Yeah, so I got a couple parlays for you guys for the best bets this weekend. Starting off with some parlays pertaining to the winners of three different fights. I've got Andre Fialho, Mizuki Inoue, and Rafael Fiziev coming in at a plus 252 parlay with those three to win. And yeah, so I mean, this one's pretty straightforward. I think this is a very good buy the low opportunity on Andre Fialho. You know, the bookies put him at a favorite, even though he's coming off three knockout losses. I'm sure there's a lot of people fading him right now. You know, it's a good bet right now for the sharps. I can't see dad bod 39-year-old means beating this guy, man. Unfortunately, he's too weak to manhandle, and he definitely doesn't have better hands than Andre. So, in my opinion, he's gonna be too slow. He's gonna be too weak to unfortunately beat Andre. So, I'm going Andre here. I'm pretty confident about this one, and I like the odds. On top of that, we got a little juicer here with Mizuki Inoue. Uh, Took a look at her weigh-ins, to see how she was looking. She's looking good, looking fit, um, ready to outpoint the OnlyFans chick with her skills, in my opinion. And I think it's going to be a pretty easy dub for her. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then on top of that, Rafael Fiziev. Uh, I kind of see him stuffing a lot of the takedowns from Gamrot. He's got a 90% takedown defense. Um, my man is a little bit stockier, shorter, harder to take down, based off of that, in my opinion. Fizaev's faced grapplers in the past, hasn't really had much trouble with them. So I think it's a pretty good bet here on Fizaev. I think he's going to do more damage over the rounds. And yeah, eventually close it out a dub based off of just doing more damage, landing the cleaner shots on his opponent. Um, yeah, that's pretty solid juice right there for 252, plus 252. There's also some other good bets on the card, but I'm just trying to keep it simple and pick the ones that I think have a
Definitely.
higher
No,
chance of
that
success
sounds
there.
fantastic. And I mean, I just wanted to bet online on one of our affiliates, and I just ran the numbers right now. That is still plus 252. So even at the time of this video, we can still get that money right now. And yeah, get them while it's hot. Because I mean, I personally think that just looking at the line movement from these outlets here, it might be moving your way. So, it's probably going to be the best price you're going to get right now, in my honest opinion. Awesome. So, I think
Yes,
that
sir.
you had another pretty cool parlay. This one's even a little juicier. And I really like the angle that you're providing for this one too. Could you explain what you mean by your over parlay here?
Yeah, so this fight, it's harder to predict the winners, but I think it's easier to predict the over and unders on this card. So I'm going with a four bet over parlay. Um, it's mainly all favorites for the over on these. Dan Argueta versus Miles Johns. I think there's gonna be a lot of control time involved. Uh, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to land the submission, which, in my opinion, is going to end up in an over 2.5 for that fight. Mizuki Inoue versus Hannah Goldy. I think Mizuki's going to have good footwork. She's going to have the better skills, and she's going to be able to, you know, coming off of a 3-year layoff. I don't think she's going to go too crazy on her first fight back. And I don't think Hannah Goldy's got the skills to finish her. So I'm going over on that one. Fiziev versus Gamrot. I think Gamrot's good enough to not get knocked out. And, he's going to be trying to get a lot of control time. And, you know, I think that's going to end up in them gassing out a little bit towards the end. And with them gassing out a little bit, it's going to be very unlikely that anyone's going to get a finish, in my opinion. And then for the final one, I'm actually really confident in this one hitting the over. We got two fighters that like to, jab and try to strike from afar, not really throwing any looping shots that much. And, two pretty safe fighters.
So yeah, I mean that's some solid analysis and solid breakdown there, especially with the, in my opinion, the two overs for the women's. Hannah Goldy, Mizuki, Waterson-Gomez, Rodriguez. I mean, Waterson-Gomez and Rodriguez just fought a 5-round snooze fest, in my opinion, like a couple years ago. So I mean, to get them at a minus 350, man, that's as our friend Alex would like to say, a giga lock. I think you can put that down to giga lock. So that's great. And just let you know, I think you got it at plus 359 right now. It's plus 374, so you can get a better price now even. So I would recommend to lock that in for
Okay.
because it could go back your way at that point as well, especially with the overs that you got. I think that looks pretty attractive here. Awesome. So that goes for your over parlay. We got two solid parlays right now, one for a 2.5x, one for a 2.5, or one for a 3.5, 3.7, depending on where you get the price at. It's two solid, pretty investments right there. I know that you also had some just straight bets, something that is not a parlay, but just something that you would play, a money line or maybe even a prop. So if you want to go ahead and explain what your, straight bets are, I think the viewers, the pure pickers, would love to hear that.
Yeah, so usually when I go for the straight bets, I try to go for stuff that's better odds than at least minus 200, so you can get some value for your units. We're not looking to play no minus 300 to minus 700s when it comes to straight bets. We're trying to go for those like plus
Yes, sir.
120s and stuff like that. Speaking of plus 120, we got Ricardo Ramos here. I checked out the weigh-ins. He looked a lot better than Charles, in my opinion. I've seen Charles lose to grapple heavy fighters, in Shane Burgos. Um, that might have been a robbery, but he was getting controlled quite a bit by Shane, and I think Ricardo is even better ground fighter than Shane. So I think Ricardo is going to be able to control him and potentially even get a submission. Um, also Charles, they gave him a really easy matchup last time. I don't think they're going to do the same thing twice in a row. Last time was kind of a gift, and usually when you get those gifts, you're gonna have to pay up a little later. So I think they might have given him a matchup that is not that favorable this time in Ricardo Ramos, the more experienced fighter that is constantly growing and improving. Um, Next up, we've got Mohammed Usman at minus 140. I think that's a pretty good bet. This dude beat Junior Tafa. Now he's going up against a dude that's 13-9, nowhere near as physically dominant as him. And given Jake's ability to gas out after the first round, I think this one is going to be a grapple fuck, is what we like to call it. I think Muhammad's just going to try to hold on to him, and eventually it's going to cause Jake to gas out, and that's going to end up probably in a decision win for Muhammad. um, or ground and pound. It depends on what the man has, what improvements he's made. I'm expecting large improvements from Mohammed's, and given the momentum that he currently has. So we'll see on Saturday night. Um, Next, I got Fialho by TKO for plus 100. I think this is a pretty good bet. I see him being able to keep the fight on the feet, and his opponent doesn't really have the speed or the physicality, in my opinion, to really do anything about Fialio's striking. Um, so I think it's just going to be a striking exchange, and I expect Fialho to be the cleaner striker. And generally, Fialho, when he lands his hits, he capitalizes on them. He knows how to go for the KO. So I don't think it's going to be a fight where they're just going to point it out. I think once Tim starts getting touched up, he's going to get dazed, and I think Fialho is going to go for the kill.
Fantastic. Yeah, and just to reference the point you made about Fialho KO, getting a pretty good price now. I think it opened up at around minus 110, so around pick 'em. So to get them at those plus odds, especially for a prop, I mean, I just wanted to kind of explain to the viewers that
Yep.
when you're trying to hunt these props, right? I don't
Hmm.
think the best way to do it is to pay that juice in a way. A lot of times, right? I think that those juice odds, let's say
Yep.
that minus like 250 or something, minus 300, all that value is kind of
Hmm.
gone. I would say most of the time, it seems like it's a
Hmm.
trap. It's a trap to kind of get you to pay those juice odds, and then they're going to pay the people who hunt down those plus odds. That's what the pattern that I see most of the times in these props. So the fact that you got a nice little plus odds prop right there, I think that's fantastic. Um, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, I just think that there needs to be a higher than 50% chance
Hmm.
that Fialho is going to knock out this dude for it to be a worth it bet. So to be a plus expected value bet, and
Definitely,
that's kind
definitely.
of
That's
what I'm
awesome.
seeing here.
Yeah, and just your other two straight bets, I'm pretty much on the same side in all of these, all of these plays that you got. There's not all the time that we're
Yeah.
always on the same side, right? But honestly, I do agree with you in pretty much most of these plays, to be honest. So, here's hoping that they they lock in, cash in, and we're gonna get some rocket ships going on here. Um, yeah, I mean that
Yes,
pretty much
sir.
concludes, the best bets kind of video. We want to keep it kind of short and sweet for the viewers, just so you can kind of lock in those plays before odds move against you, or just want to lock in that value because MMA game moves quick, right? These odds move quick, so you got to get that closing line value in a lot of these
Yeah.
cases. Yeah, man. Before we wrap up, man, do you have
Yep.
anything else as far as any kind of final thoughts, any kind of interesting insights you have for the card?
Yeah, I think this is I'd rate this about like a 7 out of
Hmm.
10 in terms of
Mm.
difficulty for the card. There's not that many like locks per se. So I would say for this card, stick to making smaller parlays, four or less. Try to avoid the 11 mans.
A
We
lot of
like to
those.
hit those 11 mans, but sometimes you got to just accept that it's not really a season for that right now. Um, you know, UFC 293 kind of was, but now we're back on the. I'm expecting to see at least two underdogs win on this
Yeah,
card.
no, I agree. I think the dogs are probably going to be barking this card, especially after Noche UFC, right? I mean, that was a good time to kind of parlay all the Mexican people that you saw on that card. The only trap that I saw with that kind of trap people was Padilla. Other than that, pretty much all the other home
Yeah,
crowd people kind of won.
yeah,
It
that
was a
was a
close
close
fight.
one too.
Yeah, yeah,
It could have gone on. I could have
exactly.
gone that way, but they were looking
Exactly.
robbed
You know why?
for
Because
sure. They
that
were
30-27 for Nelson. That should tell you all you need to know. they, they they had the fix was in, man.
that fix was in,
Once you
bro.
see that shit,
It was whack, man.
I
I thought
know, I
Fernando
know.
had a chance of winning, and when it came to the
Yeah, yeah, I
but yeah,
scored it
he got
29,
fucked up.
28 Nelson myself, but once I heard 30-27, I was like, ah, man, it's over. GG. Definitely takes one judge to, do the rob, bro.
Yeah,
Yep.
one judge, man, to
Yeah.
rob a
Yep.
close
Case in
fight.
point,
That's all it
Mike
takes.
Bell, round five, Grasso 10-8. Yeah, man, they got a
Man,
lot of
these
goons out
dudes
there.
have. See, the thing is, like, even with these, with these robberies going on, there's
Uh-huh.
still enough of an edge for us to
Yep.
be profitable in the long run. You just gotta stay disciplined. Don't get too caught up on these losses. Just on to the next. You keep firing away. Try to have the perspicacity to see the traps. Identify the traps a little bit. Pattern recognition. It really helps in this game. um, you know, learn to hedge a little bit, learn to live bet a little bit. A lot of the times when you get robbed, you could live bet the guy that's going to rob you at plus odds, so if you have the perspicacity to kind of sense that you're about to get robbed, take those plus odds on a hedge, and you won't
Exactly.
lose as bad.
Exactly. Midpoint that, it's better to leave with something than leave with nothing at the end of the day. So yeah, totally agree with that, man. Totally agree. Well, man, yeah, man,
Exactly.
thanks for your insight, dude. I know that, you're a busy guy, so I don't want to take too much more of your time. But yeah, everything that you said always, always
Pleasure,
gives
man.
me a lot of
Pleasure.
insight as far as how to even analyze just things in life, especially in MMA. Like this is something that I learned a lot from you. So I'm glad that the viewers are able to kind of see. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad
I
that the
appreciate
viewers are
that, man.
actually going to be able to see your insight as well going forward. So happy that we did this. We'll wrap it up here. Next week we'll probably come back with you in terms of some breakdowns, also some best bet videos. But until then, just enjoy the card, enjoy the fights, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right,
See you.
James. See you around, man. Peace.